Welcome to the Charleston Chicks podcast, where life gets better, bolder, and a little bit bonkers. We're three fierce, fabulous, and 50-something women who've been there, done that, and got the battle scars and laugh lines to prove it. Think of us as your go-to girlfriends, dishing out real talk on friendship, love, career, and connection. Because let's be honest, life after 45 is where the magic really happens. From navigating reinvention to new careers, dating, marriage, and surviving hot flashes with style, we're here to laugh, share, and dive deep into all the messy, magical moments of midlife. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive into the conversations you actually want to have. Because at this stage, we're not holding back, and neither should you. Welcome to the Charleston Chicks. We are so glad you're here with us. Today, we are going to be talking about relationships later on in life. We are talking about emotional closeness, being understood, and feeling truly known, because that often matters more than looks, status, or long-term plans. Melanie, why don't you give us?
I think that statement is very true. I think having had a very long-term traditional relationship that was, the better part of my life, starting very young, I think that, and being single now in my 50s, the things that we're looking for in a partnership, well, first of all, it is a partnership for the most part, right? If it's a long-term committed relationship, it's a partnership more than anything else. But I find that the types of relationships, romantic relationships that I have entered into and am interested in are not just what we think of cut and dry, traditional, Hallmark movie type of relationship.
Does that Hallmark movie thing really exist?
I don't think so.
You just thought I'd ask.
We just get fed it constantly, but it doesn't really exist. I don't think so. What do you think?
What do you think you look for in your 50s that's different?
I think that I have come to accept the level of independence that I need in autonomy. That doesn't mean I don't want to be in a relationship at all. It just means what I want and what I can tolerate about what that relationship looks like, the box that it's in is often very different than what Hallmark movies tell us that it should look like. Because traditionally, if someone meets someone, falls in love, decides to be in a relationship with them, then it's like, you get married. Like that's the ideal. And I will never say I won't ever get married again because I don't know that. If I met the right person and that was important, it could happen. But it's not something that is a driver for me. And I think that's a lot to do with age, but also has a lot to do with, I think, understanding my own needs better and the things that really matter to me. Because I also don't really have a need to live with a partner. That's my need for autonomy. That is a healthy need for me. I have no issue with commitment, but I think as long as it comes with a healthy dose of autonomy and a little bit of individualism. I don't know if that's the right word.
So I don't know what I think, but I love having my own space in my own house. But I also think as we get older, the things we need change. And for me, emotional depth and emotional safety with someone those are my very top needs in a relationship. And if I can't have those things, then that relationship is not going to work for me. I don't think it used to be that. It used to be more the financial security, the guy who would get up and go to work every day, the normal things that we were trained as children to grow up and want. And now it's just, I want emotional depth, emotional security, safety, and someone who makes me laugh
all these things I didn't think about when I was in my 20s and getting married.
Yeah.
But Jen, you've been married a really long time, and you have a great marriage. I mean, obviously, it's not perfect and there's ups and downs, but we all look at you and just think, wow, this is how it's supposed to be. So tell us a little bit about that, and tell us how it's changed from when you all were young to now.
Definitely far more responsibility, financial. And so, when you're young and you're dating, and for us living in New York City, you can just go out and do what you want and run around, and it was a ton of fun. And then life happens and you take on more and more things, and I think you just become more responsible as adults. I agree with you about the emotional depth. That is something that I actively looked for. And I knew that I needed to have that in place with the man that I was going to marry. I couldn't even imagine not.
And you knew this in your 20s.
I knew this always. I need to talk things out. I'm an over talker, processor. When something happens, I instantly feel it. And when I instantly feel it, I have to get it out. Like, no, I don't let anything sit. And and so I needed somebody who could deal with that and who could process things through with me, and who was willing to listen to me and talk things through. And I would do the same, like as a partner. So that was just that is who I am. And so I was looking, that had to be a match for me. That was like critical.
I think it's amazing that you knew that so early on, because honestly, I didn't even know myself well enough when I got married. I got married in my early 20s. I was still learning, I was still growing, and I was just taught all along, you just want to grow up and get married. And all of this stuff didn't even occur to me, which is, I think it's amazing that it did for you. And I hope it does for my daughters. I hope that they have learned through me, and that they will pick men who are have that great emotional depth and emotional safety and the security, because now for me, that's vital. Without that, I don't see how you can even have a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I remember looking ahead and I said, can you see yourself with this person for the rest of your life? Can you? And I visualized, like, going through the decades. I am like, okay, in our 30s, we'll have kids, and 40s and 50s. I really took myself and I said, is this person enough for me? And do I feel like I'm the right match for him? That's a really important piece. It's not only, and I don't think it should only be about, are you right for me? I think you have to be able to, at least for me, walk tall and proud and say, you know what? I know that I'm the right match for this person. We must lift ourselves up. We must know that we're a prize. And I believe we also must feel that we're getting a prize. And I looked at it that way. And it was only until I met my husband, he was the first one who I said, this man will be enough for me for the rest of my life. And it's a very big distinction between choosing a boyfriend and choosing a husband.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I will say that two things I've realized in what I need in a partner or a relationship, romantic relationship, is the intellectual compatibility and stimulation. Like, I really never knew that about myself, that how critical that was for me to, as far as being attracted to someone, is their ability to meet me, intellectually in the same place. And so it's like a non-negotiable, like, not that I'm some brainiac, but I definitely, it's right up there with like physical chemistry or attraction. The other thing is, when I think about relationships now, which instead of in just like kind of traditional box, is that I I read this somewhere, and is that relationships are like an ongoing conversation that with another person, that all you're doing is conversing and meeting each other, like, and being willing to meet and have those conversations as the relationship and as each of you evolve over time. Being willing to have those conversations and keep that relationship going is a constant choice through I think when I say conversation, it's really communication.
Yeah, I think you have to care about each other enough and be interested in each other enough to want to.
Correct.
You have to care. You have to care enough to be there and be present and have the hard conversations. If you can't have the hard conversations, if you have to run away from the hard conversations, that's not okay. That doesn't build a relationship. That doesn't build depth and growth. It's impossible to work with.
Yeah. And the other thing for me is I realize how open I am to what some would call unconventional relationships.
Well, you might want to expand on that a little bit.
I will just say, unconventional in different capacities, right? I'm a pretty open person. So that might be in age. I've dated younger. I've dated younger guys, and that's great.
A lot of women our age are now dating younger men because the emotional depth in the younger men, they've been raised up in a different generation, and they have the emotional depth to have a relationship that goes deep. And so I've been reading about this a lot lately, and this lends to the fact of you dating younger men.
Yes, I have experienced that to some degree. And there's attraction there based on open-mindedness too, from someone younger versus someone who is my age or maybe even a little older.
That they're so set in their ways.
Yeah, they're more traditional minded, and so definitely unconventional in that. I think also, again, not in a box relationship that is, it's either this or this. For me, there are shades of how you decide to be in each other's lives. And I will say even the label, for me personally, it kind of feels weird at 56 for someone to call me their girlfriend. Right? I don't know. It feels.
Do you like lady friend?
I don't like no. That's no. But partner. I mean, I don't know
if they are a partner.
If they are a partner, it'd be partner. But someone, maybe the audience can help us. What do you call when you're in a relationship with someone, and the boyfriend girlfriend isn't quite correct, but it's also maybe not like that whole partnership marriage thing. I don't know. So I'm just saying there are ways to be in relationship that are not so black and white of what we've been taught and what we've saw and what we've experienced ourselves. Right. That has been very interesting experiencing later in life.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking as you're talking later in life, the importance of friendship, but also peace. Yeah. Not, if you've been together long enough, or if you've been married and then no longer married, I mean, we go through highs and lows individually. And so then when you're partnered with somebody else, the relationship goes through highs and lows. And it gets to a certain point, I believe, decades later, it's just like, you know what? Peace in the valley.
Yes.
Right?
Peace is a beautiful thing.
And I think that I've learned, and I try to let more things go. I think my husband has too, just because you could pick up on little things and then you just annoy each other. And then you end up going around in circles and you go nowhere. And it's like, at what point, it's like, okay, not that this has been a big issue for us at all, it hasn't, but just in general, I see just, what's that expression, like a fine wine as it ages, or something, that it gets mellow. I always butcher these expressions. I'm good. I get the gist of it, and I think that's what I'm finding, just kind of a mellowing.
Okay. So I the peace thing that you just mentioned. So my propensity towards not quite traditional relationships feels peaceful to me, because the autonomy that I want, the space that I need, and I am a long processor. I do like to talk through things, but when something hits me, I need time to step away and process it and then come back to that person. And so I think that's part of the space and autonomy that I need is allows me that without someone being in my space all the time, where I feel like, oh, I need to step forward and I need to process and discuss this. I don't want to, I'm not avoiding it. I'm not really an avoider. At least I'm not now. I may have been an avoider younger, but I'm not now. Definitely not now. And that long processing time, I've had to come to terms, I need time to step away and I need time to think through and then come back. And that gives me peace. Mm-hmm. So.
And peace can come in so many different forms. And I just think, you push so hard and long in all areas of our lives, whether it's a career or children or moves or, in your relationship, in every area. It's like, you know what, let's just kick back and try to enjoy it a bit more and just have things be, like I said, peaceful.
I think if a relationship doesn't bring you peace, then maybe it's not the right thing, because you shouldn't feel not peaceful in it. You shouldn't feel like you're on edge or walking on eggshells.
Right.
And I've been through that, and never ever again, because it's not healthy. So I love watching you and learning from you guys, because you have been an amazing example of what a true deep partnership is. And it makes me happy to see. And it gives me hope for the future, for us, for our daughters, for our children, that they will have marriages like you two do.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, ladies, what's one takeaway that we can give our audience today? Mel?
I will say, don't be afraid to be in the relationship that suits you, even if other people don't quite understand it or would not choose that for themselves, and therefore don't understand why you would choose that for yourselves. I think figure out what works best for you, and don't worry so much about the box that other people don't understand that it's in.
Jen?
Know that relationships evolve, even within a relationship, even within a marriage. I know from my life coaching school, there was a strategy called many marriages, and within a marriage. So, right, which it took me a little while to understand, but it's very interesting. It's about the marriage you have as, let's say you both enjoy skiing or doing an activity, or here in Charleston, pickleball. The marriage you have around enjoying live music, or around eating certain foods, or just anything like that. And so I think that to think about that as we evolve and breathe, so does your partner. And then there's that third entity of the relationship. And you have to give that space to breathe and evolve. Always honor what's right for yourself and speak up. And hopefully your partner will listen, and you can work through things together.
Thank you for joining us. We are the Charleston Chicks, and we are so excited to have you taking time out of your day to watch. We'll see you next week.